Howdy, Dennis Bradford here. Let's think some about being, feeling, and doing better. Mastering Stress 2. Welcome back. In this video, let's consider stressors and then consider how to tell if you are stressed in the next video. If you've not yet watched the previous video, I suggest that you do that before watching this one. If you're like me, you find it helpful to categorize stressors. Financial stressors abound. Having too little or too much money can be stressful. Have you ever lost a job or a considerable amount of money? Have you ever had bills pile up so high that you don't even have enough money to pay the monthly minimums? Have you ever worked really hard to start your own business only to find a few months later that its expenses were still greater than its income? If you participate in the economy, it's nearly impossible not to experience financial stresses. Has death ever claimed someone you love dearly? Have you ever experienced a severe loss from a natural disaster, such as a hurricane or earthquake? Has someone ever stolen a treasured possession from you? It's very easy to recall such emotional stressors, isn't it? Have you ever lost a limb or even just the use of a limb temporarily? Have you ever been seriously ill? Have you ever experienced even the onset of a common cold at precisely the most inappropriate time? Are you old? If so, you've experienced physical stressors. Have you ever had a lover dump you unexpectedly? Have you ever had a friend backstab you? Has anyone ever broken an important promise to you? Has a stranger ever hurt you for no apparent reason? You already understand interpersonal stressors, don't you? Have you ever had an application for a position rejected because you were deemed unqualified? Have you ever felt inadequate because of a lack of formal education? Have you ever felt lost in a conversation when you really didn't understand what was being discussed? Feeling confused or ignorant is an intellectual stressor. Let's list some other common stressors. You may find it useful to categorize them into those 5 kinds. What's common to them all is that they all put uncommon demands on us. Perhaps it's clearest to begin with physiological stressors that stimulate a cascade of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol, that is sometimes called the freeze, flight, or fight response, which you've undoubtedly experienced. All those reactions are just Mother Nature's way of preparing you to deal with the present danger. The danger doesn't have to be extreme. It can be normal. For example, just go to any major city in the world and watch all the people rushing about. It's mad. Furthermore, the more frequently the freeze, flight, or fight response is triggered, the more difficult it becomes to turn it off. This is one reason why I say the incessant trauma of living in a war zone can later trigger post-traumatic stress even years after the actual threat has passed. PTS can be triggered by the normal demands of a hectic life. Chronic stress weakens your immune system. It's bad for your health. How? Scientists have shown that it can disrupt your digestive system, disrupt your reproductive system, increase your risk of cardiovascular disease, increase your risk of stroke, speed up the aging process, exacerbate pain, increase your risk of autoimmune disease, increase your risk of skin conditions such as eczema, lead to body weight problems such as obesity. It can even rewire your brain. Because of that, it can make you more vulnerable to depression, anxiety, sleep problems, such as too much sleep or too little sleep, difficulty remembering, cognitive issues, and other mental health problems. Phew! Do you realize how important chronic stress is? Let's then simply run down a list of common stressors that is in no way exhaustive. Any of the following can be stressful: allergic skin reactions, anxiety, arthritis, cardiovascular disease or problems such as chest pains, arrhythmias, heart attacks or palpitations, constipation, cough, depression, diabetes, dizziness, gum disease, headaches, heartburn, hypertension or high blood pressure, infectious diseases of all kinds, including colds, flu, or herpes, insomnia and the resulting fatigue, irritable bowel syndrome, menopausal syndromes such as hot flashes, pregnancy such as morning sickness, nervousness, pain of all kinds such as backaches, muscle pain, joint aches, postoperative pain or chronic pain, Parkinson's disease, premenstrual syndrome, side effects of age, cancer treatments, stroke, ulcers. It's false that all stressors are physiological. Let's ask, what are the most important stressors? According to the popular Holmes and Rigg stress scale, here in order are the top 10 stressors. Death of a spouse, divorce, marital separation, imprisonment, death of a close family member, injury or illness, marriage, loss of a job, marriage reconciliation, and retirement. It's an important mistake to focus solely on your life situation, the objective facts about you. What's of critical importance is your relationship to those facts. There are individual factors that make a huge difference with respect to your stress tolerance. These include cognitive factors, such as your own understanding of stress, and interpersonal factors, such as your social support network. They include your fundamental attitudes about life, such as whether or not you believe you control your own destiny, whether your thinking is rigid or flexible, your degree of tolerance for uncertainty, and having an all-or-nothing attitude. Importantly, they also include the skills you may have learned, such as those relating to your emotional maturity, self-esteem, unrealistic expectations, or negative thoughts. Stressors come from anything that puts unusual demands on you, including turning points in life, such as getting married or divorced, getting a job or losing a job, death of someone you love, buying or selling a house, unusual demands on the job, such as getting a promotion or public speaking, unusual demands in school, such as taking a test, and so on. Let's end this video by considering the value of stressors. They are certainly not all bad in terms of their consequences. In fact, it's sometimes said that the purpose of life isn't to make us happy. Instead, it's to make us grow. We don't grow or adapt better when we are doing nothing. We grow when we are challenged. In addition to increased suffering, any great loss can also yield valuable growth. There's always a silver lining. Even restricting our attention to physiological stressors, some are valuable. Hormetic phenomena are dose-response phenomena that are characterized by low-dose stimulation and high-dose inhibition. The classic Hormetic curve simply demonstrates that low doses are beneficial and high doses are harmful. Alcohol is a paradigmatic example of a hormetic stressor. Drinking some alcohol has beneficial physiological effects, whereas drinking a lot has deleterious effects. You may have heard about that. Caloric restriction is another hormetic stressor. So, if you value health and longevity, it's a good idea, especially as we age, to restrict calories somewhat by eating less and intermittent fasting. Exercise is another hormetic stressor. Too much is bad for you, but so is too little. The right dose is important if you want to age well. The more sedentary you become, the faster you'll age. So, there are some interesting takeaways when we stop to consider stressors, aren't there?